Hey everyone, and welcome back to Abyssin. Today's story is a terrifying one that took place deep inside a cave in Tennessee. This area already has a dark history of accidents, and even though the group involved was made up of experienced explorers, nothing could have prepared them for the horrifying events that unfolded that day. Before we dive in, just a quick reminder that only 1% of people who watch my videos are subscribed. So if you enjoy this kind of content, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe. It really helps me out. Now let's get into the story. On August 17th, 1996, a group of seasoned cavers was getting ready for another day of exploration inside a newly discovered cave in Tennessee. The place was already starting to show signs of hidden secrets. Mike Rogers, Jack Thomason, Gerald Money, Mike Fico, and Alan Kressler had spent the previous day clearing out debris to open up a narrow passage deep within the cave system. Now, the plan was to push farther in, hoping to uncover untouched tunnels that could lead to even greater discoveries. For these men, caving wasn't just a hobby. It was an obsession. The thrill of crawling through hidden chambers beneath the earth, squeezing through impossibly tight spaces, and discovering passages never touched by humans was what drove them. But with that excitement came real danger. The weight of the mountain above served as a constant reminder that caves are unpredictable places. And in this spot, known by the nickname Hero Bucket Horror Hole, the risk of a collapse was always in the back of their minds. The entrance to the cave was easy to miss. Just a narrow opening tucked into a wooded slope, leading straight into darkness. The team moved with precision, each carrying their specialized gear: helmets with high-powered lights, elbow and knee pads for crawling, heavy-duty gloves, and hammers for clearing rock and debris. As they descended, the air grew drier and dustier. When they reached the area they had cleared the day before, they took a close look at the passage. The walls were rough and unstable, with loose stones scattered from the digging. It wasn't ideal, but it was passable. The goal now was to get through a newly discovered section. It was a sloped tunnel, barely wide enough to fit a person. From their experience, it didn't seem like there was any real risk of getting stuck. Maybe they were wrong. Jack went in first. He turned sideways, leaning on his left shoulder to squeeze into the opening. The tunnel was about 2 feet high, but way too narrow to crawl through on his stomach, forcing him to flatten his body as much as possible. He dragged himself slowly, chest pressed against the limestone floor as he pushed forward with his feet. The ceiling scraped his back, and every breath felt compressed. Rogers followed behind. He had to lie on his right side in a painfully awkward position. There was no room for regular movement, so he pulled himself forward with his left arm, using his feet against the walls for leverage. But the farther he went, the tighter the space became. Suddenly, Jack stopped. The path ahead was blocked. Loose rocks had fallen overnight, creating a wall of jagged debris. Frustrated, he called back to Rogers that they'd need to break through to continue. Rogers tried to reach for a tool on his belt, but even small movements were a struggle in the tight space. With effort, he managed to twist his arm around and hand the tool to Jack, who began chipping away at the rocks, sending clouds of dust back toward Rogers. The air thickened, and their throats started to burn. Focused on clearing the way, they didn't notice the danger that was building behind them. It only took a few minutes for everything to go wrong. A deep, sharp cracking sound echoed through the tunnel. A large chunk of limestone, loosened by previous digging, broke off from the wall behind Rogers. It was massive. With nothing holding it in place, gravity did the rest. The rock crashed down hard, sending dust and splinters flying, blinding the others waiting outside the tunnel. The impact shoved both Jack and Rogers forward, and Jack's head slammed into the rock. His helmet took the brunt of it, but he was left dazed. When Jack came to, he realized something terrifying. The collapse had completely sealed the way they had come in. They were trapped. The debris still blocked the path forward, and now their only way out was gone. For a few seconds, neither of them moved. Then the shock hit. Jack and Rogers were stuck between two blocked passages. Thankfully, Rogers hadn't been crushed outright, The falling rock had shoved him forward just enough to avoid a direct hit. If he'd been just a few inches farther back, he could have been pinned to the floor and killed instantly. But they were still in serious trouble. Dust filled the air, making it hard to breathe, and panic started to creep in. Rogers tried pushing the rock, but there was no space to move. They were surrounded. His heart pounded so loudly it was all he could hear. Jack tried adjusting his position, but the tunnel was too tight for either of them to move much at all. The rapid breathing made things worse. The fear of being stuck there with no way out was overwhelming. But they knew panic would only make it worse. They kept telling themselves they'd make it out, trying to stay calm and trust that their friends would come through. Outside the tunnel, the rest of the team sprang into action. Cave rescues are tricky. Moving a large rock the wrong way could cause another collapse. Every decision had to be made with care. Monty ran out of the cave to find help and managed to borrow a sledgehammer from someone who lived nearby. In the meantime, the others worked with what they had: hammers, pry bars, and chisels, chipping away at the edges of the fallen rock. Inside the tunnel, Jack and Rogers did everything they could to stay calm. They knew that panicking would only burn through their oxygen faster. They also avoided moving too much, afraid of disturbing the unstable rock around them. They conserved energy and focused on slow breathing, listening for the sound of tools chipping away at stone. The work was slow and exhausting. Every swing of the sledgehammer made tiny cracks, but nothing big enough to break through. The narrow space only allowed 1 or 2 people to work at a time, so they had to take turns to avoid burning out. The biggest fear was the vibrations. If they hit too hard, they risked causing another collapse. Outside, the afternoon sun had started to dip below the horizon, but inside the cave, time felt like it had stopped. The only light came from their helmet lamps. Sweat mixed with mud trickled down their exhausted faces. After more than 4 grueling hours, they finally made a breakthrough. A well-placed strike created a deep fracture in the center of the rock. With one last team effort, they broke it into smaller pieces, opening a gap just wide enough for Jack to squeeze through. As soon as he got out, he collapsed to the ground. A wave of relief swept over everyone. They had done it. It was only then that the full weight of what had happened hit them. Freshly discovered passages are naturally unstable. Any sign of loose rock needs to be taken seriously. Clearing debris might open up new paths, but it can also weaken the surrounding structure. For Jack and Rogers, it was a terrifying experience, one that deepened their respect for the unpredictable world hidden beneath our feet. If you enjoyed this story, check out the video currently on your screen for another cave exploration that went horribly wrong. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. It really means a lot to me. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.